Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at the storm, which is going to start here soon as rain, but more interestingly, going to change to snow during the day tomorrow, mostly for areas north and west in the southern four counties here in Vermont, and also for areas at higher elevation. Not really that much in the way of accumulation, but it's definitely enough you'll see some snow in the air. And so I wanted to do a forecast. Also wanted to correct anybody who's really concerned about getting lots of snow in the northwestern Adirondacks. They're going to get a bunch of snow out of this, enough for winter storm warnings. And even in northern Vermont, there's going to be quite a bit of snow in places. But here in southern Vermont, for the most part, we're going to be spared the worst of the storm. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on that, let you know that you don't really have to be too worried about things. I don't think you're even going to really need to shovel it. It'll melt very quickly. The roads will probably just be wet in most places unless you're above 2,000 feet. So let's take a look at what's going on. Right now we have our front that's kind of moving through. That's going to bring us some rain starting about 4 o'clock today as it heads across our area. And then we're going to stay rain overnight as we've got a developing storm. But then you can really see the piece of the storm that's going to drag in the cold air is just getting going here across Georgia and across Alabama. And you can see those the thunderstorm clouds there really developing quickly. And if we take a look on radar, you can see this as well. You can see we've got a lot of thunderstorm activity, and we're starting to really develop a low pressure system here, which is going to strengthen and then kind of ride up the coast. And it's going to try to tap some of this cold air over the Great Lakes. So we're going to take a look, though. There's not a ton of cold air, and it's going to take a little while to get in here, which is why we're not going to see a ton of snow here. You can also see this on the surface. You can see that we do have a low pressure system that's been analyzed by the National Weather Service now, just over basically the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama state lines there. And you can see the front, which is still moving to the east, a reinforcing shot of colder air behind it. And these are all going to kind of come together over the northeast as we try to change the rain over to snow. You can see it also on the upper level. You can see actually we've just got a little bit of energy here as the storm's starting to get going, and we also have this the upper level support is coming in behind. I wanted to show you this quick view just because I think it's interesting. This is wind streams, which basically shows you kind of wind currents where they're flowing in the atmosphere. And you can see this is at a low level of the atmosphere here. And you can see it's a little hard to make out the state on the line, but here's the East Coast, and here's like North Carolina. And so on the western part of the state here, you can see a few little swirls here where the low pressure system is starting to come together. Eventually, this will all develop into a bigger swirl as this becomes the dominant low pressure system. Temperatures, though, tell us why we're not going to get that much snow out of this. We're really warm here. We've been warm. We're close to 50 to 60 degrees here today. And even to our west, the temperatures are not cold until you get it all the way back up into Wisconsin. That's the cold air we're tapping. It's going to take a while for that air to get here. And so here's your storm details. Basically, rain begins by this evening between 4 and 6 p.m. Precipitation continues as rain through tomorrow morning with about 0.6 to 0.8 inches of rain falling overnight, enough to bring the rivers up, but nothing to be overly concerned about. And then precipitation starts to change from snow from northwest to southeast and from higher elevations to the valleys. Any accumulation, I'm going to show you the accumulation map here in a second. Most accumulations will happen on grassy surfaces with roads only becoming snow-covered at elevations above like 1,750 feet, above 2,000 feet especially, most roads are below that. So for the most part, this will not be an issue on the roads unless you're headed to ski areas, or if you're heading over some of those higher passes on the state highways that you know about, like 155, or if you're heading across Route 11 potentially, across Route 9, across Route 30. Those are some of the spots that you could have some issues on the road. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so. Make sure that you get all my forecasts and you don't miss them out, or only get them a couple days late when they're not really that relevant anymore. And if you hit the bell next to the subscribe button down below, it gives you an option to get notifications on your phone so you can get notified when I produce forecasts. If you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, also drop a like in the video. That helps with details. Now let's take a quick look at the snow total forecast. This is not going to be a big storm. Basically, as you can see, northwest areas get a little bit more snow. Really, for a lot of us here in Windham and Bennington County, we're looking at up to an inch, and that's going to be mostly on the grassy surfaces. It's you get above You get into the higher elevations, we're talking 1 to 3 inches, and a lot of Rutland and Windsor County will be 1 to 3 inches. And then if you get further north, 2 to 4 inches, I think, for the Green Mountains, kind of Killington north, as you head into kind of the central greens. And if you go further north than that, the snow totals will even increase a little bit more. But for the area that I forecast for the most part, this is what we're looking at. Really not that big a deal. A lot of us will just basically see snow in the air tomorrow. But I wanted to give you an idea of what was going on so that you'd have an idea. If you would like to get my next forecast, it'll be on Friday morning when I take a look at the weekend forecast. And for my patrons, and if you want to become a patron, they get a look at my weekend forecast on today, actually. I'm actually going to do that right after this, and they'll have a chance to see my weekend forecast if they would like early. And so if you become a patron at any level on the site there, you get that forecast Fridays. Okay, thanks for joining me, and we will take a look at the weekend forecast on Friday. And here's the list of my patrons. Just a quick shout out to them for supporting my channel.